Our house is going through a major renovation, so I thought it'd be fun to bring you along with us. First, I'll be going over a little bit background about our home. I'll be showing you some of the updates this far, and then stick around to the end because I'm going to go over some of the things that we've learned so far through the renovation process. So just to give you a little backstory of our home, we first purchased it in 2011. What happened is John was out showing homes to a buyer client and came home and said, okay, so there's this home. It's not for them, but I think it could be a perfect home for us. And if you know John, he loves to dream big and can visualize things really, really well. Me, on the other hand, not so much. But he told me, let's go see it, see what you think. So we show up to this home. Not only is it on just a dirt mound, but it had been sitting for about 4 years. It had gone into foreclosure. If you know, back then, it was the middle of the mortgage crisis, and even in 2011, things still were kind of up and down at that point, and there were a lot of opportunities. So we walk into this house. The only thing that was pretty much done, it was like a shell, but there was the stone fireplace, there were kitchen cabinets, bathroom cabinets, but no flooring, no electric, no plumbing, no AC. You get the point. Nothing else was done. It was like things went south with the builder and the lender, and they just kind of put it together and ran off. And there it sat, prime, ready to go. It just took the right buyers and the right situation, which we ended up being the right buyers and situation. And there was a specialty loan through Wells Fargo at the time that we were able to get that had the funds, and we were able to pull together some other funds to get this home done. So here we go. We end up packing up, and we actually ended up living in an extended stay home at the time for about 2 months. We worked during the day, and then we would come back to this house in the evenings, and we would just work till sometimes the middle of the night, just getting things completed. It took about 2 months. And I would go to between Home Depot and Lowe's every single night till closing, jotting down all of the things we need and prices and everything. It was just a crazy experience, but in the end came together. Now, one of the things we learned back through that experience is you kind of need to be around when people are doing the things to your home. Now, John had his real estate license at the time, but I was working in corporate America, and he actually had a job in corporate America as well at the time. So we were gone a lot of the times, trusting that the people doing the home and the improvements that we were paying them for were doing things correctly. Not so much is what we found out. So along the way from 2011 till now, which is 2025, we've had to fix some things that weren't done completely right at the time. And also at that time, we were on a limited budget. And of course, things always come up that you're not expecting. And at that point, we decided, well, we'll get around to the things. And like always, life happens and you don't quite get around to what you were planning on before. So one of the biggest pain points for us is we're on a little over 1.5 acres of land, but we have not been able to enjoy our land so much because we didn't have a decent sized deck. We didn't have a place to go and relax, have people over. We have a walkout basement and we wanted to use that. So now we're finally at the point where we're doing these additions, and not only are we doing a deck and a walkout from our basement, but you'll see that we're also doing a sunroom, and we're also expanding the foyer and adding more inside space because there were things with the original build that weren't correct. We're doing new windows, we're doing new siding, we're doing everything. Like I said, a full glam up. So come along with us. I'll be showing you video of everything outside. Also, you'll notice there's a barn that we built in 2017. That was to help John's dad. He lived with us for about 5 or 6 years. And so it has an apartment in it. You'll see that probably in the videos too. But I can't wait for you to see what all is happening with our home and all of the improvements. So we are a few weeks into the home project. We actually started last fall with some of the excavating and some of the diggings of the foundation. Today they were working on the siding, and they've done the porch and most of the windows. Here's where you can see the outside of the sunroom, and they've started taking off some of the old siding. And here you can really see the sunroom, the back of it. That is where the deck is going to be. And then here is the walkout from the basement. So one of our favorite things to do is watch football and just hang out. And that's what we plan on doing in this area, is having this covered porch so that we can have a fireplace right there. We can put a TV up there and we can enjoy just hanging out down here. And this will actually be usable space for quite a bit of the year. Here's the inside of the sunroom right now with all of the windows. We're just missing the slider here. And then I can't wait to see and enjoy this deck once it's finished. And here's a good look of our wraparound porch. So we're extending the foyer. I can't wait to see the day that they install the front door. It's going to be amazing how much light will come in. So far so good. It's coming along quickly. So what have we learned thus far when it comes to the renovations? Number one is our general contractor. Now, I guess you could piece part around the people you need and get all these kind of estimates, but having a general contractor helps with the ease and the stress. Now, there is a percentage that you do have to pay them to help, manage the project, but they're able to hire their guys, get their people in. And if somebody is quoting a little bit higher, you can get another quote somewhere else, but usually they'll work with you pretty well to give you a decent quote and everything. Plus, the general contractors have good relationships with salespeople and get certain discounts at places like Home Depot and Lowe's. Ours has a great relationship with the sales guy at a lumber company here in town, and that's made a huge difference. The sales guy this past week said if we had come in asking for a certain thing for like the roofing material, it would have been $6,000 more than the price that our general contractor would be getting. So it can make a huge difference when it comes to the pricing of materials. So looking into a general contractor is, I would think, the way to go. Now, the second thing I'd say is get ready for potential early mornings. Now, we live on a little bit of land, so I think that probably makes a difference versus if you live in a development. But our general contractor uses an Amish crew, and they show up anywhere between 5:15 and 5:30 every morning. And that is crazy for us because we're both full-time realtors. We work from home, and we usually don't go to bed till closer to midnight. So we've really had to adjust our sleep schedules, and in some cases, unfortunately, just had to do with less amounts of sleep. So we've been more tired lately than we have been in the past, that's for sure. And they start working like right away. Again, we have some neighbors, they're not super close to us. I did verify that the banging is more muffled. Now, the next thing, when it comes to the banging, we have a dog. And if you have any kind of pets, you might know how they get when fireworks start going off. I think this is like fireworks times 1,000 because you don't only have one person banging, we have several people banging. Sometimes it's all the way around the house. And our dog gets super frazzled and comes to me, goes in the closet, goes somewhere else in the house to try to hide. Sometimes it's hard to hide because the bangs are coming from all over the place. Other times we can go into a quieter room where they're working on the other part of the house. So that's just something to know. If you have pets, you might want to look into like maybe a daycare for them, or just making sure you're around, or maybe even medication if they really need it because of the noises and everything. And then the next thing I'd say that we've learned is get prepared for a mess. So the general contractor told me everybody gets so excited when you're wanting the project to get started and everything. But once it gets started, watch out. Everybody kind of then starts getting a little bit frazzled because of the mess that happens. And oh my gosh, I mean, it's constant. It's constant dirt. It's constant drywall. Every single day I'm vacuuming, I'm mopping floors. And some days it's kind of annoying because they do things the way that they see is best, and it doesn't always make sense because now I'm having to clean up the same room multiple times, and it just goes on. So just be prepared. If you love to clean, this might be the best thing you've ever been through. I don't know, but just be prepared that you're gonna have to clean a lot, more than likely, plus shoes and dirt, and we've had lots of rain, so all of that together. And then the last thing I'd say that we've learned is, and I think I mentioned it at the beginning of the video when we were talking about our first doing the home, but it's somebody needs to be there. So the decision makers in the home, somebody needs to be there. If somebody works from home, then that's the best situation. Or if somebody can during the updates, or if somebody already is home all the time, that's for the best. Luckily, we have flexible schedules and we can be home and we can be around every day to watch them, because there are things that I hate to say it because they care, they take pride in their work and they do very great work. At least our contractors do. But there are certain things where it's like maybe measurements, things not exactly maybe the way that you'd want it to be because it's your home and you're paying all the money for this. So you might want to be around. Luckily, John is handy when it comes to woodworking and things like that. So he's able to help with cutting pieces and things like that. But then also an example is we had a window in our upstairs hallway that somehow wasn't accounted for. It was missed. So no new window was ordered. And the other day we had to just kind of come up with the decision that instead of waiting 3 weeks or waiting forever for this window to come in, that we were just going to cover it up, and it was just going to get walled off, unfortunately. Now I think I might miss the window. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes, but it can always be added later and be kind of, it could be difficult later, but like I said, we'll see how it goes. But things come up, like I said, I could keep going on, but I won't, about the fact that, you know, somebody needs to be there, and you'll want to be there to make sure things are coming along and going the way that you see fit, so decisions aren't made without you. So hopefully this video has been helpful. I can't wait to show you guys more of the progress, so stay tuned for another video in the future with that. It seems like every day so much more is going on. If you have any questions about this whole progress, let us know. You can comment below. If you do happen to be looking to buy or sell in the Columbus, Ohio area, give us a call. We'd love to chat. We'd love to help you with your dreams and your goals to accomplish those. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.